visit me again.
Jeez, Tom, I couldn't keep away now, to be honest with you, like that, you know.
It's great to see you. Honest to God, it's great to see you. Very bad weather the last few days.
Jeez, it was.
With all that thunder and lightning we had and everything. You know.
You didn't go down for an old pint. Just Tom, I say you must have a story to tell or two in the pub.
I didn't want to go out during the thunder because I was afraid the old people wouldn't go out of the house when there was thunder. You see, they were afraid because, you know, they're afraid of the lightning. Like, it was a very serious thing. They used to go around the house and cover up all the mirrors and everything because they believed that the mirrors in the house even attracted the lightning. We used to be scared of it when we were kids.
Right.
Oh, it was terrible.
I heard, Tommy, about the on Jowl with the on the bridge. What's that? You're using your snuff, Tom?
That's my snuff, yeah. That's the old tradition, the old Irish tradition that everybody took that one time. The old people and the younger people as well. It was an Irish tradition. It's a mixture of tobacco and sort of like peppermint.
Yeah.
And it's an Irish tradition going back thousands of years, but it's only very few people know that bothers with it anymore. I'm one of the last now around that uses it. You can buy it up in the tobacconists uptown, and most of the orders for it now, I don't like to say it, is in the old folks' home. I hope it'll be a while before I'll be going into one of them myself. But there's an old Irish tradition, and it's in a lot of old Irish stories as well. And actually, one of the places that it's mentioned in Irish history, there was a great woman one time there years ago. She was called the Pirate Queen, and her name was Grace O'Malley. Now that's the name, the English name, but in Irish we called her Gráinne Mhaol, bald Gráinne. And the reason she was bald was she dressed like a man. She captained her own ship, and she was a pirate queen. There was a lot of up around the coast that time. There was a lot of pirating going on in the old days. Different chieftains ruled different areas, and especially up Mayo was renowned at that time for piracy. And I tell you the truth, I hope I won't offend any people from Mayo, but even up to, I think, 100 years ago, even slightly less, they used to go out in the currachs, and they used to fill the currachs up with stones, and they used to fire the stones onto the ships that would be carrying valuables, maybe barrels of wine and maybe sugar. Salt was very valuable that time, Larry. Salt was very valuable. Salt was as valuable nearly as gold for salt and fish and bacon and that stuff, preserving your fish. But they used to bombard them with stones anyways, and this is up to 100 years ago. The pirates, the Mayo pirates, they got them, and I know a man in his lifetime that saw them and heard tell of them in operation. Even in later times, or maybe going back 80 years ago. But she was the queen of them all anyways, Gráinne Mhaol. But story has it that, just to tell you a little bit about this stuff, story has it that she was given a letter from England, from the Queen, Elizabeth was it the first, I'm not sure, to have some kind of a truce, because she was getting the better of the English, whatever the word, the yeomen, the redcoats. Oh, but that, yeah, the redcoats is right. Oh yeah, the redcoats, they were great details. A terrible power in Ireland at that time, landlords and everything, and evicting people from their houses. But she wanted to go anyway, so she decided she'd meet the Queen to see what kind of a deal the Queen wanted to do with her. I think what Elizabeth wanted was that she was going to let her continue to rule a part of Galway and Mayo on the coast and certain lands, provided that she agreed to more or less take an oath of allegiance to that she'd take top orders from the Queen. I suppose she'd have to give the Queen a few shillings probably, or whatever they had, gold or whatever they had at the time. But getting back to the snuff anyway, the story goes, again it's a true story, she actually sailed up the Thames. She was a brilliant sailor, and she commanded her crew. She was the captain of the pirate ships. She had her own main ship, and she actually sailed up the Thames. And this is true. This is history. This happened. And she got in anyway to whichever was the home of the Queen at the time, whichever castle was. They had different castles, you see, in London. But anyway, whichever one she was in, anyway, went in, and she got into conversation anyway, and there was a problem that she could only speak Gaelic, our own Irish language again, and Queen Elizabeth could only speak English. So what they had to do was they had to get an interpreter that understood Irish, and then it was translated into Latin, and then it was translated from Latin into English for the Queen. So, like myself now, Gráinne Mhaol took out her, and like the hanky I have in me one hand here, God bless it, I hope it's clean. A clean handkerchief is a great thing. But anyways, the next thing anyway, she took out her snuff like I do now. I never smoked, you know, this is the only comfort I have. I never smoked in my life, thank God. But she had no hanky, and Queen Elizabeth, in her court, she was at court, they call it, that time when you meet the Queen at court. It was like politicians around the tables, and I suppose they'd have a meal and a ball afterwards if they agreed on what was the main points. But she gave Gráinne Mhaol, that being Queen Elizabeth, gave her own personal pure white hanky from up her sleeve, for Gráinne had no hanky handy on her. So whatever the tradition, I don't know, but the tradition in Ireland was if someone gave you their hanky, that it was good manners after you using their hanky to throw the hanky, not to give them your hanky back, because I suppose it was regarded as unhealthy. So there was a big fireplace in the palace anyway, and when she wiped her nose, the Irish tradition was she went over and threw the hanky in the fire, and almighty God, holy war broke out inside in the castle. There was uproar. Queen Elizabeth was highly insulted, she was, and I know that it took a couple of hours to calm the Queen down, because she thought that she was being insulted by this tough woman, because she had learned how tough she was. She couldn't defeat her herself or her armies. But anyway, that's just a little by the way about our history of snuff. It was always at wakes. I remember the Lord of Mercy on my own grandmother when she died. She was laid back there in part of the Claddagh there, and as a young man I was sent down for, I think it was an ounce or an ounce, I think maybe 2 ounces, down to the local pub for 2 ounces. They used to wait, and then I'd come back to the house, and it was put all over around the house. And the old women in the Claddagh at that time, some of them were wearing shawls, and they'd be snuffing and crying, and then they'd be doing the Queen, and what we used to call it, the Irish cry. They'd done that at the wakes, and of course there was always a drop of stout at these things as well. There was a half barrel on, it was ordered, and it was opened like you were given a glass, we'll say, and there'd be a jug there, Larry, and if it was as good a porter as anyone to drink, and you get the jug like that, and I'd give you your glass and pour it in, and then someone, then after a while, it'd sing a song, and the corpse would be laid out out back in the room, and you go back again and see her. And I remember myself, I loved my granny, and come back to see her and all that, and give her a good send off. That was the way as it was in them days. There were a way of sending off the people, and there were ways of getting what the new word is now is grieving. There were ways of grieving. It was a natural ways, and that you didn't build up these things like in modern days today. You're whipped away like that, and then you're put in, and some of them are burnt, and these what do you call these things, Larry? They're put in, they slide them in, and they don't bury half them at all. They're putting in little. Some of them brings them home in jugs like that.
That's right.
And I don't know about that. I wouldn't like that.
Incinerators.
Incinerators is right, but the old way was to we used to call it wake them, wake the dead. They call it. Funny name now, wake the dead, but that's what it was called. So that's where I started at the age of I don't know, was I 11 or 13 or between them ages when she died, and of course I was taking a pinch at and even the weddings were held in the house that time, Larry. There was nothing like a marriage. Hotels are only another new thing in this country. People you see in Ireland forget